There's an old chair by the window in my apartment. The cushion is sun-faded, one leg creaks, and the fabric smells faintly of lavender and dust. I never sit in it, but I can't throw it away either, because it belonged to her. To the woman who lived here before me. I don't know her name. The landlord only said she was old, lived here forever, died quietly, like she was a stray breeze that drifted out through the cracks. But she wasn't nothing. You could feel her stillness in every corner. I moved to Northside 2 winters ago, dragging a broken lease, a messy heartbreak, and a suitcase with one wheel that didn't roll straight. I needed a place to pause. Not start over. Just stop bleeding. The rent was cheap. The walls were beige. The light came in soft and slow in the mornings, like a hand on your back telling you to breathe. The chair was already here, by the window. I almost tossed it out with the warped bookshelf and squeaky coat rack. But something stopped me. It was angled slightly to the left. Like whoever sat in it wanted to see the alley, but not be seen. That detail felt intentional, like a decision made daily. I left it there. At first I tried to ignore it, but slowly I started noticing things. A faint groove in the armrest where fingers had rested for years. A threadbare patch shaped like a kneecap. The way the legs scratched tiny half-moons into the floor from always being pulled back into the same spot. She had lived here. Really lived. This was someone's favorite spot in the world. One day I found a teabag wrapper tucked between the cushions. Chamomile. Not expired, just old enough to be forgotten. Another time I found a bobby pin. Then a handwritten grocery list. Milk, oats, honey, batteries, birdseed. Birdseed. I'd never seen any birds near my window. But maybe she did. Maybe she waited for them. Fed them crumbs and watched them land on fire escapes like clockwork. I started imagining her life. Woke up slowly. Sat in that chair with a shawl. Drank tea. Listened to the world move on without her. Maybe she had a daughter. One who called less and less. Maybe she used to hum to herself. Songs from her youth. Half remembered, soft and cracked like old porcelain. Maybe she used to write letters she never mailed. Or maybe she didn't need anyone. Maybe she liked the quiet. Every morning I found myself glancing at that chair. Sometimes I'd whisper good morning without thinking. Sometimes I'd pause by the window and feel seen. Strange. Missing someone you never met. I didn't work for the first few months. I just existed. Drank coffee. Took long walks. Tried to remember who I was before the noise. It was in those walks I started noticing the people in the neighborhood. The man who swept the sidewalk with jazz in his ears. The woman with 2 bulldogs and no leash. The little girl who skipped cracks like they mattered. They smiled at me. Eventually, one afternoon I passed a bookstore tucked between a laundromat and a donut shop. In the window was a used copy of The Velveteen Rabbit. Stopped me cold. That was my favorite story as a child. About how love makes you real. Even when it makes you worn out and faded and not so perfect anymore. I bought it. Read it that night. In the chair. For the first time. The creak sounded almost like a welcome. I started sitting there more. Drinking my tea in the same chipped mug. Watching the streetlights blink on like stars remembering their cue. I didn't become her. But I kept her chair warm. And in doing that, I felt less hollow. Spring came. I opened the window one morning. And a bird landed on the ledge. A robin. I froze. It hopped, looked around, then flew off. But it came back the next day. And the next. I bought birdseed. Neighbors started stopping me on the street. You new here. You're the girl in 5C, right? You always look peaceful in that window. Peaceful. I hadn't been called that in years. One morning a letter arrived. No return address. Just a name, Estelle. It was addressed to the tenant of 5C. I opened it slowly. Inside, a short note. Thank you for not moving the chair. She loved that spot. Said it was the best place to forgive herself. That's all it said. Estelle. Maybe a friend. Maybe a daughter. Maybe just someone who noticed. But now I had her name. And the chair had a story. Now every week I sit there. Even when I'm busy. Even when I'm tired. Because it reminds me that healing doesn't always come loud. Sometimes it's just about having one sacred place. A window, a chair, a moment. That you return to again and again. Until you remember who you were before the world forgot you. My name is Camila. And this is the story of the chair by the window. The one I never planned to keep. But now can't imagine living without.